Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Masterpiece. Nope, nope. This is my channel. Welcome to KillCo Whiskey Musings. My name is Brian. We are here to have whiskey because it's Friday, and we're done. We are done. I'm done. We're done. We're done. We're done. The week is over officially. Have a drink. Just go ahead. Oh, I just realized there's so much stuff I didn't do because I was distracted. Believe it or not, I get distracted very easily. If you weren't aware, now you are. That's okay. I'm waiting for people to trickle in. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about this. We are doing something weird tonight. It's not exactly the usual. Oh, that's a premiere. Okay. So I just noticed Drums and Drams had a premiere, and I went, "Oh God, he's live." No, he's not. Relax. Take it pill. Calm down. It's fine. We're doing poetry. Poetry. This is basically the one way I can guarantee no one will show up for this stream, or very few people will show up for this stream, because poetry is one of those things. It's very divisive. I don't know. You say poetry and people get like, oh, they roll their eyes, which is fine. I mean, if you don't like it, that's cool. I like it sometimes. I'm one of those weirdos who used to try to memorize Edgar Allan Poe stuff when I was a young lad. I don't have it memorized anymore, but I did at one point in time. Not anymore. And I'll probably read that one tonight, this evening. And that is, of course, The Raven, because I like that one. And I kind of know it. I tried to do these. I read one of these poems to myself, not having read it before. And I realized reading poetry is not as easy as you think if you don't know what it is. But okay, it seemed like a good idea at the time anyway. I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do today. I have a feeling it's just the fact that my car is in the shop. It's just racking my brain at the moment, freaking me out. But it's fine. It's being fixed. Hopefully it'll be done tomorrow. I hope. But I don't know. I haven't heard much from them because they have not been as communicative about it as I wish they were. A lot of, oh, we'll call you, and then they don't. I am a patient person, sort of. But when you say you're going to do something and then don't, I get very annoyed. I try to be very understanding, but I also get real annoyed. Where is pop-out chat? There we go. I have to have chat for the Twitter, the Twitch, just in case, for reasons. I don't think anything's going to happen there. It's been fairly quiet. I'm okay with that. There are still little fruit fly things in here, and they will not die. I don't know why. What was I going to pour first? Oh, the options for the readings. Well, for one, I will read something you would like me to read if you have a favorite poem, and if it's not, totally obscene or anything. But you'd have to tip for it. So I have to actually throw up the PayPal link and all that still, because I'm a professional. But those are options. Like if you want to, weird options. You have options to donate to me, help me pay off car repair, which is, as I said, the only thing on my mind because it drives me crazy. I don't know, man. No, come on. Whiskey Nose is live. He knows better. Whiskey Nose knows better. That's all right. Put him on to double stream. I have two screens, so I can do that. I'm not going to do that right now. What was I doing? Oh yeah, just trying to. My head hurts, by the way. I also have a headache. That makes it much more fun. And I have done so many things today that I don't usually do, such as going for spin class and walking in the sun. That was interesting. I am not, if you cannot tell, I am not someone who should be out in the sun for very long, and I was out in the sun for at least 30 minutes around, it was morning, so it was okay. I wasn't, immediately fried. However, I still think I might have gotten singed accidentally, and I really don't like it. I don't. I would rather not get burned by the sun Not a fan. Done it before. Not a fan. All right. Do that. Do this. Do this. Do that. There we go. There's the ticker I was looking for. And bet. And pin the comments. Super. Okay. Oh, all the official stuff is done now. It's okay. Good. Poetry, the options. Here we go. So this one, I remember specifically why I bought this. I probably should put it closer. Look at him. Look at that handsome devil. He's got a pretty decent mustache. Nothing like mine, but you know. This guy was from World War I, and he wrote poetry on the front lines. As you can see, he did a bit, but I'm pretty sure he didn't live through it. I'll read the blip on the back if I can. I did have a preparatory whiskey, because I hear that's something you should do occasionally. But this is about Wilfred Owen. Wilfred Owen's death in World War I was an irreparable loss to English poetry. His war poems, most of which were composed, see, I told you, talking is not my best subject, composed in a 13-month period on the front lines, have kept their originality and force through the past 70 years. 70 years. The best of them are considered the finest poems about war in the English language. This definitive edition of Owen's poetry, based on a close study of the MS source in the British Museum and elsewhere, contained a selection of the poet's juvenilia and several other unpublished poems, as well as those which have appeared in the editions. Wow. Editions edited by Siegfried Sassoon and Edmund Blunden. So that's your option there, if you want me to read anything from him. And then we have the classic, which this was actually given to me when I was in middle school. This is a book I'm afraid to touch and open, but I will just for you. As you can see, it's super fancy. It's got the gold on the side. I mean, look at this thing. No one makes books like this anymore. This is crazy. And this is of course, Edgar Allan Poe's poems. So on the side, poems. But it depends. And you can also, as I said, donate to the channel, aka helping me fix my car, if you'd like me to read any specific poem that I can hopefully find through Google. That's an option as well. But as for these, I need to pour a whiskey first. That's the important part. The books and the poems, they exist. And the reason I have this one is because I saw a theatrical performance about his life. It was touching. It's so I bought his book, although he's long gone, but it's interesting to have something so unique, I guess. I don't know. I don't like the word unique sometimes. But it's rare that you find like the combination of military and that time frame and poetry clash all together. You know, World War I English military and what he wrote about his experience during that time in poetry. I don't know a heck of a lot about World War I, but I know it was awful. I can imagine it was really awful, as most world wars are, so I'm told. Actually, I didn't live through any of them, but some people did, thankfully. And they came out the other end not great, I hear. Okay, but not great. Whiskey. All right, I have a bunch of samples I've been meaning to finish. I have a habit of pouring a sample during a stream and then putting them aside and then forgetting I poured the sample and then having it sit like this for a while. As you can see, it's half empty there. Whoops. And this is the Maker's Mark, SE4-PR5. I think I poured this on the last stream. I honestly don't remember. I want to finish this. This is dangerous. I just realized the proof percentage is not on here. I'm sure it's fine. It's super low. It's definitely not cast strength. We'll see. And there we are. That should start out the night of poetry very well, I suppose. And the other part of this was, oh, I forgot to say the little thing. I planned to say something silly at the start. Pull out your favorite leather chair, your favorite cigar, and your favorite whiskey, and join me for some poetry, because we're trying to class up this YouTube whiskey tube area. Too many goddamn bottle chugs out there. You gotta be fancy. I got a mustache. I try to make it fancy. It's not fancy. I'm not fancy, believe it or not. I like anime. That tells you enough. I'm not fancy. It'll make us. Hello, Dad. Well, I'm saying other people can have cars, Dad, not you. Oh gosh, people are moving in seconds. Bourbon, hello. DC, well, hello. Oh yes, thank you. Please tip your host. It helps. This is, as you can tell from below here, there's a car repair fund now. I got much more than I expected on last stream on Wednesday. I'm certainly glad I streamed, but that was also the day I think I dropped off my car. So I wasn't really in the greatest headspace at the moment. I really, I mean, look at that. Look at this. This is my fanciest fancy book. It's probably older than I am. And I'm always terrified to open it because the pages feel so frail. I don't want to break the spine or anything. All for you. All for you. Ah. I'm trying to see what the front of it says. Are there just pages, empty pages here? What's going on? All of me. I said something, and now that song stuck in my head. Oh, here we go. Here's the man, the legend himself. There he is. He has a mustache, too. It's all about the mustaches, suddenly. I don't know why. I didn't realize that. Like, this Poe has a mustache, and this mustache, and so does Wilfred Owen. And so do I. It's all connected in the great circle of whiskey and poetry. The complete poetical works of Edgar Allan Poe, with memoir by J.H. Ingram. New York, John W. Lovell Company, 14 and 16 Vesey Street. I have no idea what that is. It's with these pages. They feel so weird. Ooh. All right. I haven't read all of Edgar Allan Poe's poems, believe it or not. I just know The Raven and Lenore and a few others like that. There are a lot in here that I don't even know what the hell they are. To My Mother. Oh, there's poems and essays. I don't know which is which. Excellent. The carrier chipmunks worked. I knew that was a good idea. Chipmunks? Chipmunks. I hadn't checked that today, but I was hoping they'd arrived safely. They did arrive safely, right? Because them getting there wasn't really the issue. It was getting there in one piece that I was worried about. I hope you enjoy them, if they did. I really don't trust these pages. They're weirdly... I guess it's because of the stuff on the outside, but they feel weird. Like they're like a different thickness almost. They feel frail and yet thick at the same time. That is bizarre. Sorry, whistling again. Yeah, I really don't know how many of these are poems and how many are essays. Okay, good. Thank you, Mike Franklin. I'm glad you got them in one piece. I hope you enjoy them all. They are all delicious. And I hope you like the fourth one. I added in the fourth because I couldn't think of anything else I didn't have. And that one seemed pretty good. A little special pick. It only comes out of the sample pack by the owner's grandson. So that's pretty specific-y. Like, look at this. This doesn't feel right at all. What the hell is going on? Again, if you want to donate, I don't like pushing the donate, but that's one of the things I'm thinking about. If you would like to donate to the channel, and you have a specific poem that I can look up on the internet, I will do so and read it for you, because magic. No poetry for you, Bourbon. I don't want to read your poetry. I almost brought mine. That could have been an option. I would have had to find it. I have one from my high school days. Classy stuff, really. The memoirs. I don't want memoirs. I'm looking for poetry. God damn it. Hang on. I can just use the index here and find what I'm looking for. The memoir is very long. Yeah, the memoir goes on for about 80 something odd pages. So that's the start. I'm not going to read the memoir, although I should. I should read it someday, but not right now. Where is Lenore? Lenore is one I like, but I don't read that often. So we'll start with that. 131. Again, I don't trust this book. I don't want to break it. This could be worth billions of dollars for all I know. Probably not. Maybe nice if it was. Oh, there's the middle. I don't want to break the spies. I also have a song stuck in my head, believe it or not. Surprise, surprise. There's a song stuck in my head. Miscellaneous poems. That's the Raven. That's the first one I know. Quote the Raven, nevermore. What the hell? There we go. I know it's 139. Why do I think it's 131? Oh, that's different. Scott Moody, welcome. Ben's working in the new age, the new hieroglyphics poetry of our age, emotes and poetry. It's glorious. I don't remember the last time I read this, if I ever did. Let's see if I can do this. I keep getting distracted by the whiskey smells, but something about, so weird thought, random thought, I guess. People like cigars and whiskey. I have a feeling I like old books and whiskey, or the library smell and whiskey. I don't know why, but I can only equate it to people who like cigars and whiskey. There's some kind of parallel in the senses there, at least for me. Because I just did this and I have this book in my hand. It's like, ah, yes. Mm. Oh, it's nice. That really is nice. Oh, and this is the Maker's, before I forget. Maker's Mark SE4-PR5. Oh, hi. Wow. I got something on the end there. What was that? Nom, nom, nom. It's like a cinnamon candy at the end. That was neat. Unexpected. Another thing I'm a little terrified about. Getting anything on this book. Water, whiskey, saliva, anything. See if I can do this. Man, I have to do exclamations. Shit. Ah, broken is the golden pole. The spirit flown forever. Let the bell toll. A saintly soul floats on the Stygian river. And Guy de Vere has thrown no tear. Weep now or nevermore. See! There's a lot of exclamation points, sorry. See on yonder and rigid bow, low lies thy love, Lenore. Come! Exclamation points. Let the burial rite be read, the funeral song be sung, an anthem for the queenliest dead that ever died so young. I believe this was about his wife. I don't remember. A dirge for her, the doubly dead, and that she died so young. Wretches, ye loved her for her wealth and hated her for her pride. And when she fell in feeble health, ye blessed her, and she died. I'm okay now. How shall the ritual then be read? How shall the ritual then be read? The requiem how be sung. That's another good reason to drink whiskey and read poetry, because holy shit, if it doesn't get harder to do. By you, by yours, the evil eye, by yours, the slanderous tongue, that did to death the innocent that died, and died so young. And died so young? Question mark. Really? Percevimus, but rave not thus, and let a Sabbath song go up to God so solemnly the dead may feel no wrong. The sweet Lenore hath gone before, with hope that flew beside, leaving thee wild for the dear child that should have been thy bride. For her, the fair and the debonair, that now so lowly lies. A lot of comments. The life upon her yellow hair, but not within her eyes. The life still there, upon her hair, the death upon her eyes. Avaunt! There's a word I didn't have to, it's the new word of the day. Tonight my heart is light. No dirge will I upraise. Raise? Sure. But waft the angel on her flight, with the pain of olden days. That's a fun way to write pain. P, A, and E are smushed together. A-N. Let no bell toll, lest her sweet soul, amid its hallowed mirth, should catch the note as it doth float up from the damned earth. To friends above, from friends below, the indignant ghost is riding. From hell unto a high estate, far up within the heaven. From grief and groan to a golden throne, beside the King of Heaven. I feel smarter already. I'm not sure why. Oh yes, please let me know what's in a glass. Don't care what it is. Anything. Tea, water, wine, tequila, whiskey, vodka, cocktail, milk, anything. I'm always curious. I want to know what people's glasses have on a Friday night. On a Friday night. On a Friday night. I'll try to keep an eye on my thing as well. I'm not very good at that, so I apologize in advance. Not that I have to figure this out someday. But anyway, my phone doesn't exactly blow up if I get a donation via the PayPal or Venmo. So I have to try to keep an eye on it. It actually was very low. The battery was about 13% or 12%. So I'm charging it at the moment. That was fun. There was another thing that I thought Lenore was. That was not what I expected. I thought of something else. Maybe it was the raven I was thinking of. Whoop. Oh, nice. Enjoy the dry week. Look forward to the samples. That's a great thing to do on a dry week. Not getting samples on a dry week isn't the best feeling. I've done that with bottles where it's just like, dry week. But you have to do the little mental twist and be like, all right, that means I get to look forward to having this later. Not, oh my God, I want to drink this right now. Look forward to it later. It gives you something to look forward to once your dry week is complete. That was not what I thought Lenore was going to be. I am definitely thinking of the Raven at the moment. I know I am. All right, we'll go back and forth. That was Poe. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do this or do this in the chat. It lets me know what the hell's going on, mostly. And also, YouTube likes to see chat moving because YouTube overlords are always watching. They're watching right now. Now, with this guy, I haven't read anything. I read the first poem in the first pages of this, but I don't remember anything else about what this guy did. I feel like there were some that were repeated, said, spoken. In the theatrical version of this I saw. David Geschke, hello. I don't know. That's Rex, and now unfortunately Emma, hello. I'm not quite sure who that is who says that. Hello. Whatever. And I don't shimmy, but I know someone who does. However, I do understand the enjoyment of this is a whiskey when you have a sip of something that tastes just luscious. Luscious. All right. War poems. Most of them are war poems. Sweet. How am I going to do this? I have the option of doing things, right? All right. Crap. I want to do like a list of things. Let's add option. I'm messing around with the. Okay. Crap. That doesn't help. I want to do a poll, but there's no way I can do a poll easily with the amount of poems that are in here. All right. How's this? I will tell you. I'll ask you. I'll tell you. The first one to pick a number between 35 and 86. I will read that. Go. 2, 3, 4. And if no one does it, I'm just going to keep going like that. 72. Scott Moody says 72. Winner! You win the fact I'm going to read whatever that is. Yay! 72. Oh, actually, you picked right on one, which I didn't really expect. The Dead Beat. Oh, well. Let's find out what the Dead Beat is. Again, I have no idea. I just thought I don't know what brought this thought on, other than classing up the whiskey tube world. I will not be able to do that until I have what Hot Butter Rolls has. You know, giant whiskey library. I will need a leather chair. I won't be smoking a cigar, but I can. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like cigars, so and I can't smoke in here anyway. So there's that. 72. Before I forget. 72, 72. Where are you? That's 71. The Dead Beat. Or the Deadbeat. I'm not sure what he's talking about, so we'll see. I need to cleanse the palate. I may make this a regular thing, depending. These are the only two books of poetry I have. I feel like I might have another, though. Because, unfortunately, I used to work at a Barnes & Noble, and I bought a lot of stuff. And I don't remember what all of them were, other than a lot of manga and graphic novels. I wish I could read out graphic novels. I have a lot. Most of them about superheroes or the aliens, like remember the original Aliens? You know, those ones. Like Aliens vs. Superman. Love that shit. It's crazy. Well, this is going to be rough because he's talking in strange ways. Okay, here we go. The Dead Beat by Wilfred Owen. I don't know why I forgot his name all of a sudden. He dropped, more sullenly than wearily, lay stupid like a cod, heavy like meat, and none of us could kick him to his feet. Just blinked at my revolver, blearily. Didn't appear to know a war was on, or see the blasted trench at which he stared. I'll do 'em in, he whined. If this hand's spread, I'll murder them, I will. I'll murder them, I will. If you're wondering, whenever I do that, it means it was a comma. Telling myself, pause, you fool. A low voice said, it's Blighty Praps, he sees. I don't know why I had switched to the accent, but Praps is not something I've heard before. His pluck's all gone. Pluck's all gone. Dreaming all the valiant that aren't dead. Bold uncles, smiling ministerly. Maybe his brave young wife, getting her fun. In some new home, improved maternally. Improved? Sure. It's not these stiffs have crazed him, nor the Hun. I don't even know if I'm saying all this right. We sent him down at last, out of the way, unwounded, stout lad, two before that strife. Malingering, stretcher bearer winked, not half. Next day I hear the docks, well whisked high. Oh, next day I hear the docks, well whiskied. Whiskied, really? How did that happen? Well whiskied laugh. That scum you sent last night soon died. Hooray! Actually, hooray. Dot. Period. I wonder what that was about. The Dead Beat. There's a whole blip after it, too. I almost kept reading it, but it's notes and edits. Oh, they changed the wording. Next day I heard the duck's fat laugh. That dirt you sent me down last night just died. So glad! Exclamation point. Weird. I guess they tried to modernize it, which makes more sense. But again, they added the words that well whiskied laugh. Well whiskied. It actually says well whiskied. W-H-I-S-K-I-E-D. I don't know what a well whiskied laugh is, but I like the idea. There you go. Whiskey is Liquid Sunshine. George Bernard Shaw. Again, for those, what the hell is that? For those who are just driving, if you want me to sing something, read something from your favorite poet that you know I can find on the Google, I shall do so for a mere donation to said stream. Let me know. Let me know in the comments, because I won't see it unless you actually tell me. And that was Wilfred Owen, The Dead Beat. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm trying to wrap my head around what that was about. Was it someone they found who was an actual deadbeat, or was it someone they found? It must have been like during a war, some like guy just meandering about, poor soul. Again, I don't know much about World War One, but haha, it wasn't good. World Wars usually aren't. This is actually kind of nice. I didn't really think much about what I was going to do for this stream. I mean, I came up with the idea. I'm not sure how. Probably because I glanced at one of my Edgar Allan Poe books and I was like, oh, I can do that. I could read some poetry to my viewers. They will love it, or they just won't show up. Which, anyway, trying to class up this joint. Got too many bottle chugs. For fuck's sake. I mean, on to Edgar Allan Poe again. I'm just going to read the Raven because if I don't, it's going to bug me. 131. This book really does have a smell to it. It's freaking me out. 131. I really should read the memoir someday, but holy shnikes, that's a lot. That's what is 131. I got distracted before. Preference to the poems. I don't need to read the preference right now. Preface. Preference? Preface. Miscellaneous poems. The Raven. Now this one I know. At least I've read it enough times to know it. Oh, it starts out, just try to remember. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. 'Tis some visitor, I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my book surcease of sorrow. Sorrow for the lost Lenore. I already read that one. For the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore. Nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, 'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Shouldn't even touch the pages. This it is, and nothing more. Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. Sir, said I, or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Oh, sorry. Merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, something louder than before. Surely, said I, surely this is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Thereat isn't a word. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind and nothing more. Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Yeah. Not the least obedience made he. Obedience? Whatever. Not a minute stopped or stayed he, but, with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door. It's hard to read and look at you at the same time, I apologize. Perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat. Nothing more. I feel like I have to take a breath. Then this ebony bird beguiled my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and the stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore, Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's plutonium shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. Actually, it's with such a name as Nevermore. No, wait, no, it isn't. I did it right, I'm sorry. With such a name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes had flown before. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom's unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his song one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope that melancholy burden bore, of nevermore. But the raven still beguiled all my sad soul into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. Delish. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease, reclining on the cushion's velvet lining, that lamplight gloated o'er. Oh, apostrophe er, blah! But whose velvet violet lining with the lamp's light gloated o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphs whom footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by the angels he hath sent thee, respite and nepenthe from the memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, where the tempest sent, or where the tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Gilead? Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within this distant Aden it shall clasp a saintly maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of, be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him is streaming, throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. I really like that one. There are some tricky words in it, but it's kind of a classic, at least in my brain. There are some words in there that's like, what the hell does that mean? I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoy this. My father, after all, is the guy who does audiobooks, and this is about as much attention as I can give to reading something out loud. Otherwise, I get distracted. This is taking a lot, believe me. A lot of focus, which I do not have much of. How the whiskey helps. Ah, be still, my beating heart. All right. We have another one we can pick from Wilfred Owen. I keep forgetting his name. That's great. It has war poems and it has other poems. I don't want other poems. Other poems and fragments, which I don't know if it's one I read. All right. Again, first one to pick a number between 35 and 86. Go. 72 is not on the table. I read that one already. So any other number, again, between 35 and 86. $54, 22 toes. Thank you. Hello, if I didn't say hello earlier. 54. Let's see what that is. All right, it looks like it's not right on 54, but we will go back to 52. That is where, actually, I guess I have to go to 55. I'm going to the closest number for the poem. 54 is in the 52 poem. However, it's right next to 55, which is the next one. So you choose 52 or 55, Tony Two Toes. Which would you like to hear? Ba, ba, ba. I don't know why this song got my stupid head all of a sudden. Ba, ba, da, da, ba, 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 da, da, da. I don't know. I can't even remember what that song is. Ba, ba, ba. It's something. 55. Oh, yeah, I dig it. This is going to be a tricky one, I think. Dulce et Dorum Est. You picked a tricky one. I don't know what the other one was. Oh. At least I could say that. 55 it is. Where is 55? I'm looking for it in the book. Don't worry, I'm singing too high and it kind of hurts my voice. Okay. Again, I have no idea what these are like. I'm just kind of reading it out loud, hoping I don't trip on it too many times. Tony Two Toes, let me know what's in your glass. If you haven't already, I don't think I have. You have. Yeah. Dulce et decorum est. Does anyone know what that means? It sounds like it means something. It sounds like Latin almost. I could be totally wrong. It could be some other language I don't know about. Here we are. The next door is being weird. Bent double, like old beggar under sacks, knock-kneed, coughing like hags, we cursed through sludge, till on the haunting flare we turned our backs, and toward our distant rest began to trudge. Men marched to sleep. Many had lost their boots, but limped on, bloodshod. All went lame, all blind, drunk with fatigue, deaf even to the hoots of tired, outstripped 5-9s that dropped behind. Gas, gas, quick, boys! An ecstasy of fumbling, fitting the clumsy helmets just in time. But someone still was yelling out and stumbling, and floundering like a man in fire or lime. Dim, though the misty panes and thick green lights, as under a green sea, I saw him drowning. In all my dreams, before my helpless sight, he plunges at me, guttering, choking, drowning. If in some smothering dreams you too could pace behind the wagon that we flung him in, and watch the white eyes writhering his face, his haggard face like a devil sick of sin, If you could hear at every jolt the blood gurgling from the froth-corrupted lungs. Obscene as cancer, bitter as the cud of vile, incurable sores on innocent tongues. My friend, you would not tell with such high zest to children ardent for some desperate glory that old lie, dulce et decorum est, pro pateri mori. I don't know what that means. That sounded scary AF. I'm not gonna lie, that sounded like they were trudging through the trenches and they got gassed, and some people just didn't make it. Blah. Water is the best thing to drink. You need it to live. If you don't, you die. So that's good. It's a good thing to drink. I feel like I should pick some happier poems someday, but again, it's the option of the crowd. If you want me to read anything that you like, that is a poem. If any of you know poetry, you freaking wonderful people. I was going to say uncultured swine, but I won't. Because I'm pretty uncultured. And swine-like, I promise. I had to cleanse the palate with the pretzels, because pretzels are very good. This is quite nice. I hope you all are enjoying yourselves. I know it's not a huge crowd. This is not... I knew from the get-go, the start, this would not be a huge draw. Like whiskey and poetry. Most people who drink whiskey look at that and go, why? I want cigars or guns or tacos. I would like tacos. Or barbecue. Oh, barbecue. All right. I'm gonna pick some, I just gotta pick something out of Edgar Allan Poe since I know some of his work. I feel like there's another one. I'm probably just thinking about the Raven over and over again. But I know there's another one in here somewhere. But I don't remember what it's called. That's the problem. El Dorado. There's a bunch of ones on here I don't even know. To Helen, alone. Ooh. Making sure I'm reading chat while I'm doing all this. I swear Lenora was something different in my brain. To Helen. Oh, there it is. Annabelle Lee. That's the other one. 159. Thankfully, I can remember some of these. These are not happy poems. I apologize. But they're good reading. Not that I'm good at reading. So we're clear. That's right. We're all about the stimulation. Doesn't sound right. And here's the thing. With the whiskey tube world, you have to find a niche, you know? Now, granted, this is not a huge niche. This is one a niche, whatever. And there are plenty of out there with just, you know, drinking and having fun. Like Hot Butter Rolls' channel is one I really like watching. But for the most part, it's kind of there's a very heavy bro vibe, and that can get to me real quick. Just because of me. That's my own thing. That's just more of a social thing that eventually I'm not having fun anymore, kind of situation. But I also like to do a little bit of, I don't want to say poetry, but I like to think, you know, whiskey musings. I have to muse on things. I'm musing on poetry at the moment. All right, here we go. How long is Annabelle Lee? I haven't read this one in a while, so I'm probably going to be rusty. Okay, sure. Here we are. Edgar Allan Poe's Annabelle Lee. I'm going to trip on the words at least 10 times. I don't know why I have to inhale. It's not like I'm about to sing. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabelle Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love. I and my Annabelle Lee. With a love that winged seraphs of heaven coveted her in me. Quiet, my watch. And this was the reason that, long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabelle Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. See, there are words that would trip me up real hard if I didn't know them already. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabelle Lee. But our love it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we. And neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing my dreams of the beautiful Annabelle Lee, and the star never rise, but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lay down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in the sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the sounding sea. That's not creepy at all. Sounds like young love, and one of them died. It was terrible. I'm wondering who the kinsmen are. That was a random one. What time is it? All right. Again, I have Patreon, a Venmo, and a PayPal if you would like to donate to the channel. Many of you have already, so don't feel pressured to. I certainly did. I was very surprised on Wednesday, we'll say. But as some of you know, my car is in need of repair. I haven't had a car for 2 days. I don't go anywhere. But still, that car needs to last another 10 years, damn it. I have absolutely no idea what situation I would be in the future where I could afford another car. Because the weird thing about the world we live in is you can't afford a car. You can pay for one over a long period of time, but you can't afford one. You can't just go to a car store and be like, I want that one, and then walk out of there with it. Somebody can. Not me. Not yet. As soon as I become internet famous because of my mustache. It's never going to happen. All right. Back to the collected poems of Wilfred Owen. And again, unless you have a poem I could find online that you would like me to read, you would have to send a donation and just let me know what it is in the donation thing, or tell me in the stream. Oops, whatever. But I'll have to double check. And again, I don't check my phone. I try not to check my phone when I'm doing this, unless someone actually donates. So there's that. Right. This time, we're doing the same thing. Actually, you know what I can do? I totally forgot. I'm asking you guys to do all the work. It's like, hey, why don't you just ask Google? Hopefully it won't pick the one. All right, 35 and pick a number between 35 and 86. I'm still not used to doing this. 77.
Here's a random number, 77.
Thanks, voice on my phone that isn't listening to me all the time. Ooh, 77. Wait a minute. We did 72 last time, so I'll have to double check that one. Oh no, we're doing 77. How do you think that is? Only because of the name. 79 has a good title though, but 77 is a little better. Edward Fulmer, welcome. Picking up the Swamp Family Reserve American whiskey today. Ooh. Why don't you send me some? No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. Unless you want to. That sounds interesting. The Sea Family Reserve. Who is that distillery? Because I have no idea. There's one thing about my channel is I don't pretend to know anything. Everything is just my opinion. That doesn't mean anything to anyone but me. That's the fun part. Some of you may like my opinion. Some of you may hate my opinion. And if you hate my opinion, why are you here? Just wondering. I'm curious. I'm not saying leave. I'm just curious. 77 is a number that has 2 sevens, so I like it. I like the number 7 if you weren't aware. It has nothing to do with my birth month or birthday. This one on page 77, thanks to Google phone weirdness, is called Smile, Smile, Smile. Smile though your heart is breaking. Smile. Ooh, obtainium. Hello. I've heard things about obtainium. I have no idea what it tastes like. Good on you, man. Let us know. Let all of us know all at once, somehow. Smile, smile, smile. This is not what I expected to see as the title of a poem from a guy who was living through World War I and died in World War I. So we'll see. Maybe this is happy. I really don't think it will be, but we'll see. I need water. Whiskey helps, but water's better. For the purpose of reading stuff, that is. Whiskey is the water of life. So. That song stuck in my head now. Smile. Head to limp head, the sunk-eyed wounded scanned. Yes, to head to head, the limp-eyed. Head to limp head, the sunk-eyed wounded scanned yesterday's mail. The casualties, typed small and large, vast booty from the latest haul. Also, they read of cheap homes, not yet planned. For, said the paper, when this war is done, the men's first instinct will be making homes. Meanwhile, their foremost needs an aerodromes. It being certain war has but begun. Peace would do wrong to our undying dead. The son we offered might regret they died. If we got nothing lasting in their stead, we must be solidly indemnified. There's a fun word. They'll all be worthy victory, which all bought. We rulers sitting in this ancient spot would wrong our very selves if we forgot. The greatest glory will be theirs who fought, who kept this nation in integrity. Nation? The half-limbed reader did not chafe, but smiled at one another curiously, like secret men who know their secret safe. This is the thing they know and never speak, that England one by one had fled to France, not many elsewhere now, save under France. Picture of these broad smiles appeared each week, and people in whose voice real feelings rings say, how they smile! They're happy now, poor things. 23rd September, 1918. Ugh. It's good stuff, man. Good stuff. I'm not really sure what that one was leaning on. It's like, what are you talking about? I guess they were talking about, I don't want to say propaganda, but the war itself and what it meant. Like what pedestrians, what the military knew of the war and what flipping people, civilians knew of the war. At least in England. Again, he was from England. Let's do this again. I like using my phone to do weird things. That didn't sound right. I like using my phone to pick random things. How's that? 103 to 189. If it picks one of the ones I've read already, I'm going to be annoyed. Hey, Google. Making sure it didn't do anything. Pick a number between 103 and 189.
108.
Thanks. The weirdness of technology, man. That's like a normal thing that whiskey tubers do. They just like talk to their phone, it picks something randomly. Everyone's okay. It's like, oh, that was interesting. In my brain, it's like you're talking to your phone and it's doing things. I'm freaking out. What the hell? 109. What is 109 before I go looking for it so I don't double up on something by accident? 109 is something that I haven't read yet. Okay. I don't know about this one because these look long. I have 109, but there's 103. And then there's 129. Hold on, we'll look at these and I might have to roll again. Because I don't know if I want to read these if they're, 20 pages long. I can only read so much at one time before my brain starts to be like, hey, you like tacos and what day is it? Let's order pizza. Stuff like that. Oh yeah, that's all preface stuff. It doesn't actually start the poems until 132 or 131, I should say. Damn it! Just pick again, shall we? Unless you want to hear the Raven again, which I don't think you do. Although I do like reading that one. That one's the only one where I can actually think about it. So 131 to 189. Pick a number between 131 and 189.
188.
Okay. That's what that is. Magic. That's what that freaking is. Oh. I don't know what to expect with this. It's called 2F. Except it says F and then there's just a line after it, like a straight up line. We shall see. I am curious now what the F this is. 188. What's that? There's no business like show business like no business or move. Da, 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 da. Oh, be sure to like and subscribe and bell and share with your friends. Demand your friends to subscribe. I don't care who they are. Just make them all subscribe. Because we're creeping up on 450? 450. I should probably wait until 500. I'd rather just do it at 450. So yes, click the bell. Click the thumbs. The overlords demand it. I apologize in advance. 2F. I don't know who F is. Beloved, amid the earnest woes that crowd around my earthly path, drear path, alas, where grows not every on lonely rose, my soul at least a solace hath in dreams of thee, and therein knows an Eden of bland repose. And thus thy memory is to me like some enchanted far-off isle in some tumultuous sea, some ocean throbbing far and free with storms, but where meanwhile serenest sky continually, just o'er that one bright island smile. What the F was that? I don't know. It sounded like a letter, because there's a mishmash of stuff in here. It's mostly poems, but it does have, let's see, what else did it say? Poems and essays. I imagine that was an essay to someone. It sounded like a letter, honestly. It sounded like he wrote to someone. I was like, I miss you. I like the ocean, sea, and such. Weather. Grass. All right. Another. Oh, wait, I should take a break. Talk to you guys for a moment. Because it's been an hour. And believe it or not, reading stuff randomly for an hour is exhausting. And I should pour more whiskey, honestly. That's really why I stopped. Hamana. It is spicy, but in a good way. I'm really bad at getting rid of the empty bottles for the record. Whoops. I don't mean to be. I just am. It's all scotch. Oh, is this another one? Ooh, hold on. There's one over here I want to finish, but I can't find it. Nope. The curse of having too many samples. Really? Look at that. Can you tell? I know I poured a little of it, but did I? I swear I did, but I can't tell. Apricot brandy finish. I sampled this one. I know I did. It was good. This is Chattanooga, by the way. The Chattanooga whiskey batch 17. The apricot brandy finish was actually really good. I'm thinking of killing this bottle off now, but it's almost full. I know I have some that are half empty. That was kind of the idea. Oh, here we go. It's the same stuff I drank last time. This is Larceny. Barrel proof. I believe I poured these on the last stream, but honestly, I don't remember. I only poured half of them. So there's that. Whoops. Let's see what to talk about. How about August? What are you all doing for August? It is summer. I am well aware that we are in the summer slump where people are not sitting at home on Friday nights watching YouTube. Thankfully, you are. I appreciate that. And you're here. But with the last year's complications, we'll say, it certainly was a good time to be a whiskey tuber because lots of people were watching YouTube inside and not going anywhere. But hopefully, not hopefully, but I imagine during the autumn and the winter months, things will kick up again. Granted, I'm still getting subscribers regularly, which is kind of cool, semi-regularly. I'm still waiting for that supposed boost that happens where someone, like 100 people subscribe all of a sudden. I don't think it's going to happen, but yeah, got my fingers crossed. You actually have to like the content I'm doing, and it's a little bit specific. I plan to do more stuff. I know one of the things I have to do is make more content. I made you some content, but that is not as easy as it sounds. Hopefully, it will be later. But overall, I'm trying to make, I'm trying to think to make, and planning on making some singing videos. Hopefully you guys will like that because the idea, and no promises as to when this will be. I kind of wanted to get it done today. I didn't. Mostly because I've had a headache. It's right here, right in my temple, right here, and just all the way back. It's fun. It goes away if I'm looking at a screen, but as soon as I'm not, it's there. I believe this first song I'm going to sing will be Unchained Melody, but I have to remind myself what it sounds like because I haven't actually sang that song in at least 5 years, probably more than that. But it was the first one I ever remember doing. And the weirdest part is I remember having to learn the Unchained Melody song, and the way I did it, because I was not comfortable with the way I sang in general, I was actually in a graveyard. And I've thought about doing this again. As weird as it seems, it's something that makes sense to me. Is there are not a lot of people at graveyards, and in general, they're not paying attention to what you're doing. They're concerned with their own thing. And if anything, singing a song might cheer them up a little bit, might make them feel a little better, considering where they are. But initially, I distinctly remember because I didn't know where to sing. Like I didn't want to sing at home. I didn't want to sing in public. I didn't want to be around people hearing me sing as I was just getting used to singing. So I remember distinctly walking through a cemetery that no one was at, going over this song called Unchained Melody and trying to figure out how the hell do you sing? So I feel like I should do that one first. I've done other videos that are songs on the channel. You kind of have to dig to find them, but they're in there. I should probably make an actual playlist for them. They're not good, for the record. They're sung fine, I should say. But the way they're recorded and presented, not great. No editing, just I started filming and I sang the song and then that was it. I'm hoping to do something kind of fancy, but since it's something I have never done before, I will have to look into how to do that. Because believe it or not, making a singing video is a lot harder than making a whiskey video. The whiskey video, I just kind of, for those of you who watched my video, I hope you watch it this week. I don't remember what it was. Oh, it was Open 14. That was kind of nice. I really enjoyed going over Open 14. That was fun. I hadn't actually analyzed it to that extent ever. Usually it was just something I bought at a bar if they had it, and I enjoyed it. But it was fun to actually go over finally get the bottle. Again, thank you, Cliff, wherever you are, for donating. Now I have my own bottle. That was one I had hoped to buy. But it's $70-ish, 75. I believe I've said in the video. It was expensive. It's an expensive bottle. So I'm going to pour that very irregularly. Although I do have a lot of scotch to go through still as well. So yeah. I did finish this sample, which I probably shouldn't have, as some of you may remember. And I'm going to be sending samples to, I'm fairly sure I talked about this last time, an acquaintances / friendly-ish person's husband. Co-op Whiskey, hello. I see you. Troublemaker that you are. Welcome to the jungle. No worries. Everyone has their own life to do, believe me. It's the funniest thing about the internet is the only time any of you see me, except if I'm on someone else's stream, but in general, you just see this little corner of my apartment. Thankfully, you don't see the rest because it's a mess. But you also don't see much of my real life unless you're a patron. And if you like seeing that, I'm glad you're participating on the Patreon. But some of you might not. I really don't know. Patreon's a weird thing. You have to figure out what you're doing and then do something extra, or at least add extra things. For instance, today, and I didn't add this, it was just something that happened and I thought about it. And I'm fairly certain I mentioned it at the start. No car, by the way. That's why donations are appreciated right now. I gotta make the money to repair it, or make the money to give to my parents since they're gonna be paying for it. And I feel awful about that. But there's nothing I can do about that right now because I don't have a job. This is the job. You're welcome. Reading poetry on the internet and sipping whiskey. It's a job. It's a hard job, but I decided to do it. It's not easy. Someone had to do it. Where was I going with that thought? I've already lost it. Yes, the hope is I will return the funds to my parents if possible, because I don't like the fact that we have to do that. But there is no way for me to pay for anything, so it sucks. And I can't not have a car if I'm planning to go visit places all over the United States someday. The car has to be able to make it there. For one, I'm just thinking of getting to Connecticut. I'd like to be able to do that every once in a while and see Irene and have little meetups there. That'd be great. That's the plan, in case you weren't wondering. So if you find yourself in New England, let me know. We can meet up at Irene Tan's store, and you can have as much whiskey as she will give you, which is a lot, believe it or not. And then we'll have lunch or dinner or whatever at the nearby restaurant. It'll be glorious. There are places to stay nearby, but they are sketchy places, like 2-star hotels. So if you want to do that, you can. It's mostly the driving I worry about. I don't. She will give you plenty of whiskey, is what I'm saying. So hopefully you can Uber your way back without it being crazy, or have a designated driver. That's the best. Ah, it's nice. What was I just reading? Did I just read Wilfred Owen? I feel like I did, but I'm not sure. My brain is blanking out on me as it does. I'm taking my break. Talked about random stuff. Talked about the Patreon. Talked about subscribers. Talked about the car. There's no actual plan to what I'm thinking here, but for the most part, I think I got it. Ooh. No, honestly, tell me. I don't remember which one I read last because I've already forgotten. My brain is that bad. If you were unaware, I feel like it was this one. Hold on. Maybe it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Yeah, this one doesn't go to 188. So I just read Poe, I think. It's really bad, folks. I'm not joking. It's bad. 35 to 86. Try that. If this is the one I haven't read, but I don't remember. If no one's going to tell me, I'll just keep going. 35 and 180. Whoops, 180. Sorry, 86, not 186. Between 35 and 86. Pick a number between 35 and 86.
$42.
I do one of those at 42 already. No, I don't think I did. 42, the parable of the old man and the young. Oh shit, that sounds pretty sketch. Sounds depressing. I don't know why, but it does. 42. There we go. No, it's short. I am supposed to pour myself more whiskey. I know. Relax. That's a little spicy. The Parable of the Old Man and the Young by Wilfred Owen. I keep forgetting who I'm. So Abraham rose and clave the wood and went and took the fire with him and a knife. And as they sojourned both of them together, Isaac the firstborn spake and said, My father, behold the preparations, fire and iron. But where the lamb for this burnt offering? ? Then Abram bound the youth with belt and straps, and builded parapets and trenches there, and stretched forth the knife to slay his son. Whoa, what? That's a quick turn. When lo, an angel called him out of heaven, saying, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do anything to him. Behold, a ram caught in a thicket by its horns. Awful a ram of pride instead of him. But the old man would not so, but slew his son, and half the seed of Europe, one by one. That got grim. If I had not better, but if I had more upbeat poems, I'd read them. However, I did mention earlier, if you have a poem or a poet, most likely, if you have a poem by a poet that you like, just donate to the channel. Let me know in chat or on the donation, and I will gladly find it on the Google and read it to the best of my ability, because doing this is much easier than doing this, because I actually have to read it on the screen, and it might get a little bit closer. We'll get into it. Not really. And it's easier for me to read a book than it is to read a screen, believe it or not. On to Poe. Again, I'm having fun with this. I don't know if anyone else is having fun with that. It's an enjoyable evening of luxury and poetry. That's nice. That is spicy. All right. For Poe, it gets weird. If I pick the wrong thing, it gets weird. How about did Annabelle Lee? There's a short story, actually. I know I'm going off the rails here by doing short stories, but there's one I like. And believe it or not, whoops, oh hi. The book just landed on my keyboard. It's freaking me out. No, go away. All right. So here we have, I didn't plan this at all. I didn't. We have Edgar Allan Poe selected short stories. That's right. I have 2 old books of Edgar Allan Poe stuff. You get to tuck in and listen to this because you can't stop me. No one can stop me. I mean, no one can stop me at the moment. Some of these. All right. Here's a favorite of mine. Some of you may know it. The Mask of the Red Death. I know it's an upbeat thing, but we're working with it. 80. And this one's appropriate for frickin' last year, man. That was. There's many a night I spent thinking of this song. Oh God, this is actually a long short story. Hold on, let me see how long this is. Okay, it's only a few pages, but I don't like reading out loud because I don't like my voice occasionally. I hope you enjoy what I'm doing. Sorry, I'm okay. I'm emotional today. This is a lot longer than a poem, I gotta say. But if you're wondering, I'm taking on the theme of I do YouTube content that has stuff to do with whiskey, and My father records audiobooks. Something I can do is I can read a book out loud to you while sipping whiskey. On my channel. It all makes sense now. I just have to add whiskey to anything I'm doing. Boom, done. This is going to be brutal. I apologize in advance. Because it's long. The Mask of the Red Death. The Red Death had long devastated the country. No pestilence had ever been so fatal or so hideous. Blood was its avatar and its seal. The redness and the horror of blood. Bleed. There was sharp pains and sudden dizziness, and then profuse bleeding at the pores with dissolution. The scarlet stain upon the body, and especially upon the face of the victim, were the pest ban which shut him out from the aid and from the sympathy of his fellow men. And the whole seizure, progress, and termination of the disease were the incidents of half an hour. Ooh, God, that sounds awful. But the Prince Prospero was happy and dauntless and sagacious when his dominions were half depopulated. He summoned to his presence 1,000 hale and light-hearted friends from among the knights and dames of his court, and with these retired to the deep seclusions of one of his castellated abbeys. That really said castellated, and I got through it. This was an extensive and magnificent structure, the creation of the prince's own eccentric yet august taste. Why do they keep throwing weird words in front of me? A strong and lofty wall girdled it in. This wall had gates of iron. The courtiers, having entered, brought furnaces and massy hammers. What? Massy hammers, and welded the bolts. They resolved to leave means neither of ingress nor egress to the sudden impulsiveness of despair or of frenzies from within. I keep trying not to laugh when I skip over something or stumble. The abbey was amply provisioned. With such precautions, the courtiers might bid defiance to contagion. The external world could take care of itself. In the meantime, it was folly to grieve or to think. The prince had provided all the appliances of pleasure. There were buffoons. There were improvisatori. There were ballet dancers, there were musicians, there was beauty, there was wine. All these the security were without was the Red Death. Ooh. It was towards the close of the 5th or 6th month of his seclusion. I actually got that right. I was guessing on the word there. And while the pestilence raged most furiously abroad, the Prince Prospero entertained his 1,000 friends at a masked ball of the most unusual magnificence. It was a voluptuous scene, the masquerade. But first let me tell the room in which it was held. There were 7, an imperial suite. In many palaces, however, such suites form a long, straight vista, while the folding doors slide back nearly to the walls on either hand, so that the view of this whole extent is scarcely impeded. Oh, I'm tired. Here the case was very different, as might have been expected from the prince's love of the bizarre. The apartment was so irregularly disposed that the vision embraced but little more than one at a time. There was a sharp turn at every 20 or 30 yards, and at each turn a novel effect. To the right and left, in the middle of each wall, a tall and narrow Gothic window looked out upon a closed corridor which pursued the windings of the suite. These windows were of stained glass, whose color varied in accordance with the prevailing hue of the decoration of the chamber into which it opened. My brain is fried. That at the easterly extremity was hung, for example, in blue and vividly blue were its windows. The second chamber was purple, in its ornate and tapestries, and here the panes were purple. The third was green throughout, and so were the casements. Casements? Sure. The fourth was furnished and lighted with orange, the fifth with white, the sixth with violet. The 7th apartment was closely shrouded in black velvet tapestry. The 7th apartment was closely shrouded in black velvet tapestries that hung all over the ceiling and down the walls. falling in heavy folds upon a carpet of the same material and hue. But in this chamber only, the colors of the windows failed to correspond with the decorations. The panes here were scarlet, a deep blood color. Now in no one of the 7 apartments was there any lamp or candelabrum amid the profusion of golden ornaments that lay scattered to and fro, or depending from the roof. Depending? Okay. There was no light of any kind emanating from the lamps or candle within the suite of chambers. But in the corridors that followed the suite, there stood there stood opposite to each window a heavy tripod bearing a brazier of fire that projected its rays through the tinted glass and so glaringly illuminated the room. Come back. And thus were produced a multitude of gaudy and fantastic appearances. But in the western or black chamber, the effect of the firelight that streamed upon the dark hangings through the blood-tinted panes was ghastly in the extreme, and produced so wild a look upon the countenance of those who entered, that there were few of the company bold enough to set foot within its precedence at all. Man, words are hard, just for the record. Lovely. Oh, gosh. As much as I like to take a sip of whiskey and read, my mouth is like, no, you don't. Especially if it has a drying effect. That didn't. Not really. But it was enough to make my tongue get tired. It was in this apartment, also, that there stood against the western wall a gigantic clock of ebony. Its pendulum swung to and fro with a dull, heavy, monotonous clang. And when the minute's hand made the circuit of the face, and the hour was to be stricken, there came from the brazen lungs of the clock a sound which was clear and loud and deep and exceedingly musical. Oh, but is so peculiar a note of emphasis that, at each lapse of an hour, the musicians of the orchestra were constrained to pause momentarily in their performance to hearken to the sound. And thus, you know what? Hang on. Do I have a thing? I know what's bugging me. It's that there are so many goddamn words. There we go. This will work. I lost my place. Momentarily in their performance to hearken to the sound, and thus the waltzers perforce ceased their evolutions, and there was a brief disconcert of the whole gay company. And while the chimes of the clock yet rang, it was observed that the giddiest grew pale, and the more aged and sedate passed their hands over their brows, as if in confused reverie of meditation. Blah, blah, blah. But when the echoes had fully ceased, a light laughter at once prevailed the assembly. The musicians looked at each other and smiled, as if their own nervousness and folly had made whispering vows, each to the other, that the next chiming of the clock should produce to them no similar emotion. And then, after the lapse of 60 minutes, which embraced 3,600 seconds of the time that flies, there came yet another chiming of the clock. And then, with the same disconcert and tremulousness and meditation as before. God, words are hard. Mike Stahl, welcome. Hello. Hello. Oh, give me some dinner. I'm hungry. Nice to see you, sir. But in spite of these things, it was a gay and magnificent revel. Revel? The taste of the prince was peculiar. He had a fine eye for colors and effects. He disregarded the decora of mere fashion. His plans were boldly and fiery, and his conceptions glowed with barbaric luster. There are some who would have thought him mad. His followers felt that he was not. Well, his followers felt that he was not. It was necessary to hear and to see and to touch him to be sure that he was not. He had directed, in great part, the movable embellishment of the 7 chambers upon occasion of the great fete. F-E-T-E. Great feat. Great feat. And it was his own guiding taste which had given character to the master quarters. Be sure they were grotesque. There was much glare and glitter and Pickwincy phantasms, much of what had been since seen in Herania. Herania? Hernani. Hernani. There were arabesque figures with unsuited limbs and appointments. There were delirious fancies, such as the madman's fashion. There were much of the beautiful, much of the wanton, much of the bizarre, something of the terrible, and not little of that which might have excited disgust. To and fro in 7 chambers there stalked, in fact, a multitude of dreams. And these, the dreams, writhed in and about, taking cue from the room and casting wild music in the orchestra to seem as an echo of their steps. And, anon, there strikes the ebony clock which stands in the hall of the velvet, and then, for a moment, all is still, and all is silent save the voice of the clock. The dreams are stiff frozen as they stand, but the echoes of the chime die away. They have endured but an instant, and a light, half-subdued laughter floats after them as they depart. And now, again the music swells, and the dreams live, and writhe to and fro more merrily than ever, taking cue from the many tinted windows through which stream the rays from the tripods. Oh, but to the chamber which lies most westerly of the 7, there are now none of the maskers who venture, for the night is waning away, and there flows a rudder light through the blood-colored panes and the blackness of the sable drapery of halls. And to him whose foot falls upon the sable carpet, there comes from the near clock of ebony, a muffled peal, and more solemn, empathetic than any which reached their ears, who indulged in the more remorseful gaieties of the other apartments. So tired. Reading is hard, man. Reading and speaking at the same time. It's like juggling. And if anyone's wondering, I don't know how to juggle. Woo! I'm awake now. But these other apartments were densely crowded, and in them beat feverishly the heart of life, and the revel went whirlingly on, until at length there commenced the sounding of midnight upon the clock, and then the music ceased, as I have told, and the evolutions of the waltzers were quieted, and there was an uneasy cessation of all things as before. But now there were 12 strokes to be sounded by the bell of the clock, and thus it happened, perhaps, that more of thought crept, with more of time, into the meditations of the thoughtful among those who were rebelled. And thus, too, it happened, perhaps, that before the last echoes of the last chime had utterly sunk into silence, there were many individuals in the crowd who had found leisure to become aware of the presence of a masked figure which had arrested the attention of no single individual before. And the rumor of this new presence having spread itself whisperingly around, there arose at length with the whole company a buzz, or murmur, expressive of disprobation and surprise, then, finally, of terror, of horror, and of disgust. Look at the chat. Hello. Jake Miller. Jack Miller, hi. Off of a dry week now, and Evan Williams tasted like Jack Daniels barrel proof. To think I almost quit drinking because dry week went so well. Well, it's good to take time off. I can only imagine that reaction. Evan Williams tastes like Jack Daniels barrel proof. Oof. The burn does return. Granted, I always have the burn. Usually. Welcome, Jake Miller, to the reading of random shit. I mean, poetry. This isn't a poem, it's a short story, sorry. Taking a pause to breathe, relax, remind ourselves we've made it through another week, thankfully, and have another pour of whiskey. Don't worry, I'm not done with this story. Although we all know things turn out ill for our other friends. Whiskey Nose, hello, welcome. Yes, happy Friday indeed. We all should take pause, have a drink, and celebrate the fact that all of us have lived through yet one more week. You only get so many, and it's good to remind ourselves of that in good company and with a good drink, as they say. Also, please drink responsibly. I say that in all good faith, as they say. Oh, now to end things. I'm going to have to get a bookmark or something. This works, but this is not the greatest reading apparatus. And I only really needed this when I started reading a short story, I realized. In an assembly of phantasms such as I have painted, it may well be supposed that no ordinary appearance could have excited such sensation. In truth, the masquerade license of the night was nearly unlimited, but the figure in question had out-Heroded Herod, and gone beyond the bounds of even the prince's indefinite decorum. There are chords in the heart of most reckless which cannot be touched without emotion. Even with the utterly lost, to whom life and death are equally jest, there are matters of which no jest can be made. The whole company, indeed, seemed now deeply to feel that in the costume and bearing of that strange neither wit nor propriety existed. The figure was tall and gaunt, and shrouded from head to foot in the habiliments of the grave. Habiliments. I got that right. The mask which concealed the visage was made so nearly to resemble the countenance of a stiffened corpse that the close scrutiny must have had difficulty in detecting the cheat. And yet all that might have been endured, if not approved, by the mad revelers around. But the murmurs had gone so far as to assume the type of the Red Death. His vestige was dabbed in blood, and his broad brow, which all featured of the face, was besprinkled with scarlet horror. Yeah, it sucks to be reminded of the real shit, man. When the eyes of Prince Prospero fell upon the spectral image, which with a slow and solemn movement, as if more fully to sustain its roll, stalked to and fro among the waltzers, he was seen to be convulsed in the first moment with a strong shudder, either of terror or disdain, but in the next his brow reddened with rage. Who dares? He demanded hoarsely. Who dares? He demanded hoarsely of the courtiers who stood near him. Who dares insult us with this blasphemous mockery? Seize him and unmask him, that we may know whom we have to hang at sunrise from the battlements. It was the eastern of the blue chamber in which stood the Prince Prospero as he uttered these words. They rang throughout the 7 rooms loudly and clearly. For the prince was a bold and robust man, and the music had become hushed at the wavering of his hands. It was in the blue room where stood the prince, with a group of pale courtiers by his side. At first he spoke. There was a slight rushing movement of this group in the direction of the intruder, who at the moment was also near at hand, and now, with deliberate and stately steps, made closer approach to the speaker. This is hurting my brain, but from a certain nameless awe with which the mad assumption of the murmur had inspired the whole party, there was found none who put forth hand to seize him, so that unimpeded he passed within a yard of the prince's person, and while the vault assembly, as if with one impulse, shrank from the center of the room to the walls, he made his way uninterrupted, steadily, but with the same solemn and measured step which had distinguished him from the first through the blue chamber to the purple, and through the purple to the green to the orange, through again to the white, and even thereince to the violet. Ere a decided movement had been made to arrest him. It was then, however, that the Prince Prospero, maddening with rage and shame of his own momentary cowardice, rushed hurriedly through the 6 chambers, while none followed him on account of a deadly terror that had seized upon all. He bore aloft a drawn dagger, and had approached in rapid impetuousness to within 3 or 4 feet of the retreating figure. With the latter having attained the extremity of the velvet apartment, turned suddenly and confronted his pursuer. There was a sharp cry, and the dagger dropped gleaming upon the sable carpet, upon which, instantly afterwards, fell Prospero. Fell prostrate in death the Prince Prospero. Then, summoning the wild courage of despair, a throng of revelers at once threw themselves into the black apartment, and, seizing the murmurer, whose tall figure stood erect and motionless within the shadow of the ebony clock, gasped in unutterable horror at finding grave cerements and coarse-spliced masks which they handled with so violent rudeness, untented by any tangible form. That'd be pretty scary. And now was acknowledged the presence of the Red Death. He had come like a thief in the night, and one by one dropped the revelers in the blood-bedewed halls of their revel, and died each in the despairing posture of his fall. And the life of the ebony clock went out with that of the last of the gay, and the flames of the tripods expired, and darkness and decay, and the Red Death, held illimitable dominion over all. My brain hurts. Reasons why I don't read short stories. Kevin C., welcome. Ooh, Dad's Hot. Dad's Hot Ride. I've heard that's good. I'm tempted to read another one of these, but not one so long. That was a little ridiculous. My brain is fried now. That's the only one I really know, Mask of Red Death. Oh, the Pendulum. Sorry, that's another one I know. That one's messed up. So messed up. All right, let's go back to some World War I. Exciting as that sounds. Again, for those who are just joining, if you have, hold on. For those of you just joining, there is a car repair fund donation thing because my car is in the shop. It's going to cost a lot to fix. Or if you would like me to read a poem of some sort that you know I can find on Google, leave a donation and leave a message either in chat or in the donation, and I will do so. I will look at it and do so. Or I'll try to. Oh, someone did something. Hang on. Well, hold goddamn thanks. Who is that? That does help, believe me. Someone's sending me stuff. Bourbon Baller, welcome. Also drive safe. John, thank you. You son of a gun. You glorious bastard. You magnificent bastard. I did get Hugers. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. That's definitely going to help for the repair of the car. Because unfortunately, it's a lot. Like the car itself costs about, well, the car itself is a 2007 Chevy Malibu. That tells you a lot. And let's just say if I could sell it used at top dollar, I'm still paying a fair chunk, or will be. My parents will be paying a fair chunk to repair it. Unfortunately, I cannot afford to buy a new car yet. Again, when I'm internet famous and making millions of dollars, sure, I'll buy a car. I'll just go there and buy it instantly. Just be like, here's the money, bam, done. But until that day, I'm going to have to deal with the only car I have for the rest of my days, in all likelihood. All right, we're going back to Wilfred Owen. For those of you just joining, Wilfred Owen was a poet, English poet, fighting in the trenches of World War I. And unfortunately, he died there. But he wrote a bunch of stuff about it, and it's interesting. Not the happiest stuff, but again, I don't have any super happy poems to read. Granted, hold on, I just remembered one. I can look it up myself, if I can remember exactly what it was. I should have this book, too. I'm realizing that. See if any of you can figure out who this is. If I can find one I like. I know there are a bunch. And these are happier poems, thankfully. Oh, nope. Nope, they're short, too. That's the good thing. Unfortunately, I'm looking at a bunch of these. I'm like, I don't know what any of these are. Nope, nope. Oh, wait, here's one. This is almost a song in my memory. I can actually hear the guy's voice. It's freaking me out a little bit. This is called 18 Flavors. If you know who it is, wink. 18 luscious, scrumptious flavors. Chocolate, lime, and cherry. Coffee, pumpkin, fudge, banana, caramel, cream, and boysenberry, rocky road and toasted almond, butterscotch, vanilla dip, butter brickle, apple ripple, coconut and mocha chip, brandy, peach, and lemon custard, each a scoop lovely, smooth and round, tallest ice cream cone in town. Lying there on the ground. You're welcome. That was silly. I'd be pissed. An 18 scoop ice cream cone and just shit. It's the end of that. You have to guess who it is because I'm gonna keep doing his stuff. If I can find ones I know, 18 is one that's kind of embedded in my brain for some reason. Here's another quick one called Early Bird. Oh, if you're a bird, be an early bird and catch the worm for your breakfast plate. If you're a bird, be an early bird. But if you're a worm, sleep late. I'm a worm and I sleep late all the time, not often by choice. Actually, I haven't been sleeping late these days. My whole IBRI thing is just kind of going, and I've been waking up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. It's great. Oh, this is a good one. And let me know if you know who it is. I haven't actually seen if you know who it is. Okay, yeah. Listen to the mussets. Listen to the mussets, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves. And listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. I love them. These are so good. I really should have this book because it'd be much easier to read than all these freaking web pages. Nope, nope, nope. I'm looking at all of them going, I don't remember this one. If I can remember it, I'll sing it, but sing it, say it. Unfortunately, a lot of these they're not. I'm amazed at how many of them are out here, though. You should think it's like, don't post these on the internet. Oh, wait. That's never going to happen. All right. Oh, God damn. This one's stupid, but it's funny. This one's called Sick. I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy Ann McKay. I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry. I'm going blind, my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox, and there's one more, that's 17. And don't you think my face looks green? I lost my place. My leg is cut, my eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure that my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin. My belly button's caving. My back is wrenched. My ankles sprained. My appendix pains. Each time it rains, my nose is cold. My toes are numb. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff. My voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbows bent. My spine ain't straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk. I cannot hear. There is a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is what? What's that you say? You say today is Saturday? Goodbye. I'm going out to play. Isn't that fun? The only reason I could do that is because I've heard it. If you know me, sort of, you will realize I have a good way of dealing with, what is it, melodies? Like if I know the melody of something, it's easier for me to do. And with that specifically, I have heard the writer of the, it's not a poem, but whatever that is. I've heard that done many times when I was a kid, so it's kind of stuck in there. And he did it very similar to the way I just did. Not exactly, but close. Oh God, why are these so stupid? I love them. Again, if you have guessed who this is, none of you have yet. Let me know. Get out of here, you stupid thing. All right, here we go. Hope you're ready for this. This one's called Smart. No, wait. There we go. I gotta make sure it's all there because they can screw me. Smart. My dad gave me $1 bill because I'm his smartest son, and I swapped it for 2 shiny quarters because 2 is more than 1. And then I took the quarters and I traded them to Lou for 3 dimes. I guess he didn't know that 3 is more than 2. Just then along came old blind Bates. And just because he can't see, he gave me 4 nickels for my 3 dimes. 4 is more than 3. And I took the nickels to Hiram Coombs down in the seed feed store. And the fool gave me 5 pennies for them. And 5 is more than 4. And I went and I showed my dad, and he got red in the cheeks, and closed his eyes, and shook his head. Too proud of me to speak. So stupid and so funny. All right, I'm still waiting. Still waiting for someone to guess who this is. Because if you don't know, I'm going to be sad. Sad in my soul. Right here. Trying to find another one I know. There's a whole bunch of these freaking poems by this guy, or songs, or whatever you want to call them. More whiskey? Okay, here's this. Wow. I forgot. It's barrel proof. Hello, I'm awake. I should keep it on the clock. Forgot about that. Okay, I got a few minutes left. I realized while I'm doing this, I can't see what the timer is. Whoops. Oh, I'm trying to find a good one. Nope, damn it. The joys of doing Google. Oh, there's so many of these damn things. I wish I could find all the good ones. Not Twisted Dr. Seuss. You're close. He is a bit twisted, but it's not Dr. Seuss. I'll let you know before we end the live. Don't worry. He's a favorite of mine. I had his books. I have no idea if I had his books actually, but I remember listening to him reciting his poetry or songs or stories or whatever you want to call these many times. And we're talking cassette here, so it was a lot. What's this one? Nope, I don't know. The problem is I have to actually have heard it. If I haven't heard it, I don't quite know how to say it. Granted, with all the other poems I've been doing tonight, well, it doesn't really matter. Let's see. Nope. Right, what's this one? I guess I'll do this one. called the Poet's Tree. And since we're going around poet stuff, let's see what this is. Underneath the poetry, come and rest a while with me, and watch the way the word web weaves between the shady story leaves. The branches of the poetry reach from the mountains to the sea. So come and dream, or come and climb. Just don't get hit. Just don't get hit by falling rhymes. And I can't tell you who it is because you haven't guessed yet. I already did listen to the Mussins. That's one of my favorites. Oh, it's not one of my favorites, but I like that one. It's a good song. I like it. Oh wait, here we go. This is sounds terrifying. Actually, I remember seeing this and being disturbed. So we'll go with that. As disturbing as it is. That's not what I meant to do. Running out of time. 5-minute warning. Red alert. Nope, it's not Dr. Seuss, Ma. You know who it is. I'll tell you at the end. Don't worry. What should I tell you? It's going to be all over. All right. Now I can even hear I can hear this thing, and it's so weird. Have you heard of tiny Melinda May, who ate a monstrous whale? She thought she could. She said she would. So she started right out at the tail. And everyone said, "You're much too small." But that didn't bother Melinda at all. She took little bites and she chewed very slow, just like a good girl should. And in 89 years, she ate the whale because she said she would. Yeah. Close, Mom. That's not quite right. Yeah, I don't know who Schelling is, but there you go. Shel Silverstein is who you're going for. So if any of you have enjoyed these last few poems of this lovely evening with all of you and all of the Friday and the ending of all things, trying to end it on an up note, is Shel Silverstein, who I've been reciting. And he did Where the Sidewalk Ends. It's a favorite of mine. It's a lovely little ditty. There's quite a few in there. Not all of them are exactly poetry, and not all of those I just did were much of poetry, but I enjoy them. Especially, what was it? Not the Melinda May one. One of the ones I just did I really like. I probably started laughing after I did it. Oh, the ice cream one's pretty funny. All of them are good, to be honest. There's another one I remember listening to a lot that had to do with dinosaurs. Dinosaurs never say please. I only got a minute or two left. So maybe if I do another one of these poetry streams or something like that, I can find some other stuff to say. Because although I love doing like actual book stuff, solid in my hand and such, is nice. I have so much more variety if I do stuff that I can look up online, such as Shel Silverstein, that I like a lot. But we are coming to the end of our evening. Thank you for everyone who donated. I appreciate it. Hopefully it'll pay off some of the car at least. I don't know when I'm going to get it. Hopefully tomorrow. Maybe. We'll see. But I believe Trev is going on next. Trev, whiskey, the wrench whiskey. Bourbon Wrench. There we go. So if you go over to the Bourbon Wrench's live stream, which is happening in about 1 minute. I could look up Robert Frost for the next time we do this, Mom, but at the moment, we got less than a minute until we're done here. I'm trying to find... What am I doing here? I know he's going live soon, but anyway, Trev Wilson, the Bourbon Wrench, is going live. I forget what he's doing. I'll let you know in a sec. Head over there. Let him know I sent you, even though you're probably going in there anyway. But it helps to have other people think I'm important, but I'm not. I mean, whatever. Yeah, he's going live. Bourbon Wrench live, new bottle shenanigans. So he's got new bottles. Looks like he might have an Eagle Rare 17. That's son of a gun. To all of you who have been here, thank you for spending your Friday afternoon with me. I hope to see you on Sunday. Again, I go live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. For the whiskey. Until next time, oops. Live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome, and I will see you out there.